Hello America and curling fans from Canada and Newfoundland. This is the latest draw from the 2024 MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns, brought to you by DoubleTakeout.com. This is your host Ryan Olson, bringing you the game between Team Pomeroy of the Oval Curling Club of Utah taking on Team Berndt of the Orange County Curling Club. We see Ryan Tanner, the lead for Pomeroy, throw the first stone. And we are underway. Father Paul Tanner indicates that the rock is a bit heavy. Before this stream started, the teams had a practice and then a draw to the button to see who was closest. The winner won the hammer. That's by default. Apparently, you can ask to have it changed, but you can't do it after the throw has been done, which is kind of different than what we do during league night, where you do have a coin toss. It's like, okay, then I won the coin toss, I won the hammer, or what have you. So the alternative is the choice of rock color. As we see lead Alan Berndt throw the rock. It looks to be a smidge heavy. And Ken's going to escort it through the house. Out of play. As Skip Austin Berndt parts the rock. As we see Ryan's next throw. Ryan and Paul are still relatively new in the game, but they've definitely had some solid experiences. As I mentioned in the first game featuring Pomeroy, Paul's been to Arena Nationals. This is the second most competitive event that he's been at. And I got that at about 13.9, settling in the top 12-foot ring. As Alan gets set. I think looking for a bit of takeout weight. And this definitely looks to be about board, maybe control weight. It's not on target though. I got 10.3. Measuring the rock as it crosses the first hog line and to the near hog line. As Paul gets set, delivers. Pomeroy played the number 1 seed in the event this morning. That was Cameron Spangler. Played him pretty tough, but Spangler found ways to score multiple point ends, and that led to an early result. So it looks like Paul put up a rock in the biting the 8-foot white ring. And it does set up a chance to get rid of multiple rocks. As second Matt Ketterer throws his first. Looking to move some rocks here. He's trying to get, looks like it's drifting too far. So definitely does give Pomeroy something of an advantage here without the hammer in this first end. We have 10 teams in the field. Given the size of the event, we have 2 pools of 5 teams. Each team will play 4 games. And then the top 2 finishers from each pool will advance to the Sunday semifinals. And if you're lucky enough to win that game, you get your ticket punched to the Sunday championship at about 12:20. This is up weight, unfortunately. Threw the house out of play. The other game on the ice is Team Berndt from Oval Curling Club. taking on Team Berndt from Wine Country. And Team Berndt has one win after defeating Team Stephanie this morning. Team Mallard is looking for their first win. So it looks like Berndt was able to kick out that blue and roll to the left. Somewhat protected. So it looks like Ken is asking Jacob Almaraz, the vice for the squad, to draw around. At least throwing third rocks. Looks pretty good. I wonder if they are hoping for a little bit more curl. Actually, they got just a little too much curl. As it kisses off of the red that was in the top of the house. Shooter rolls open right on the tee line. As we see Dan McCarthy throw his first. I think looking to take out that exposed red rock. It looks pretty close. Maybe a little bit of a roll. And the roll was made. Really good shot there from Dan. So the ice has been fairly speedy for arena curlers. I heard someone say it may have been a little faster a while ago, but it's been pretty speedy. I was timing about 14:40 hog to hog to reach the tee line, which is not too shabby. This is Jacob's next. I think just looking to draw again. And this looks pretty close. As it scoots past that top red, settles into the back four. Good for second shots. So if Jacob was just like a smidge lighter, he would have been shot on the button. So it definitely reduces the scoring area. I would count that as a good shot. And so Austin is, I think, looking to follow Jacob down. They could be sitting two after this is all said and done, but they could also set up a takeout possibility. So this is it settles in as a guard. So it looks like Ken's going to try that draw with a little bit more eyes. And ideally it would be shots pretty close to that center line on the right. He's also gesturing to the top four, which I think also would make it super hard for Berndt to get to the button for a multiple point score. You couldn't see it, but on the back of the sheet, you had Dan looking at the camera. He did give a little hop. Unfortunately, that camera was not active, but it's good to see people having some fun with the cameras. So we got Ken looking for a draw here. And let us time it from the delivery hog line to the playing hog line. Lots of rocks in play right down the middle. So this looks like the weight's pretty good, maybe a little light. I got 14.4, which I indicated was T and is T. Pretty darn close to T-line weight right there. So it is a little open, so it looks like Austin's going to try and draw on top of the red. This is a tricky shot. It's more like a heavy draw, I would say. I would think backline weight, which would be about maybe 14.10. No, 14.2, sorry. Something happened. Oh, the hat popped out. Well, let's see where the shot ends up. This is definitely a technical timeout. And that will settle in the top 8. So I've seen the hat come out like once or twice. It happens very rarely. This is I've been doing it for 3 years. So we got a technical timeout. It's not my birthday.
They have the option to replay the shot.
One of the ice officials is saying that Team Berndt has the option to replay the shot. So it sounds like they're saying that the hat was chipped, and I think just because they're set in the hat as pegs, and so there's got to be some allowance for motion. But if too much motion, obviously can displace the hat, which is what happened. Although I think also one thing I saw that happened in the other time that I saw the hat come out is that the hat is kind of dragged with the foot because your trailing foot drags behind, and so you push out, give one last little kick with your trailing foot, and then that trailing foot drags, and so I think basically kind of maybe the combination of the kick and then the drag pulled that hat out of the ice. So teams are just taking a pause as they watch to see the recovery. So this is fascinating. This is something that we don't deal with the permanent hacks on arena ice because the hockey players complain, and so do the skaters. But we have temporary hacks. And the temporary hacks sometimes pop out. Usually they're pretty secure. But we're going to take this pause in the action to remind people that we are keeping track of the scores at bondspieler.com. Bondspieler.com is where you can keep track of the scoring as it happens throughout the games, throughout the weekend. You can also keep track of the standings. And also we are updating draw shot. And then we're going to see a couple test slides here now. Oh, that one worked okay. So again, all that scoring is at bondspieler.com. As we were able to listen in to the conversation, talking about either they take the time to freeze the hack in now and lead to more delay, or I just run the risk of the hack coming out again later. Ken did a sample slide there. It looks like Team Berndt is choosing to rethrow that last rock. And it looks like we might be game on for now. Not going to take the extra time to refreeze the hack, which I guess is running the risk of the problem recurring. But fingers crossed that this won't happen. So again, looking for a draw. Hoping to sit on top of the red that's kind of exposed in the forefoot.
It was fine. We made Ken come out and also try it so that they would then decide between the both of them if they would both mix it.
And that was heavy. That's 1109. And that could have been the call to maybe to try and get both of those reds moving to open up the scoring area. And it's kind of tough in these situations because the players expect the conditions to be consistent, and whenever there's any inconsistency for whatever reason, and stuff happens, it could throw people off their game. So I would think that the second crack to that shot was an unfortunate miss, possibly because of just the conditions. So it looks like I would guess that Pomeroy is just going to close the door here. He could try the draw again to get into the forefoot, and that could be the call. You want to make it really hard for Berndt to get any possible shots. So this is Pomeroy's last here without the hammer. Looks like it's carrying pretty well. I got 13-8. So it's just not really curling back on that line. Oh, that was, I think, maybe what he wanted. If it curled like another 6 inches, it would have kissed that red back toward the button. And that was a great possibility. I got 13-8-4. So ice might be a little slower down that right path. So now Austin Berndt is looking to see what to do. They're looking at maybe running the blue back, and that could be the call. Or actually, it looks like they might be looking to throw weights at those reds that Dan has the broom next to. With the broom's position there, I think they want to kind of hit the two reds, and then hit one of the reds back on the other red, and kind of get all three rocks moving. 4-2. This is Austin's last shot here in the first. And this is hanging out again. They were trying to push it over, but it would not yield. So that's going to be a score of 1. That was a good force by Pomeroy. And they snagged the hammer to carry into the second end. So we're going to take a break. It's only going to be a minute. But we'll be right back to the action at the 2024 MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns, coming to you live from Lake Tahoe Epic Curling. And this tournament is being brought to you by DoubleTakeout.com, which is operated by Ken Pomeroy, the skip of Team Pomeroy on the ice. Now, throughout the competitive curling season, Pomeroy updates the site with the latest stats and custom rankings. You can see how your favorite men's, women's, and mixed doubles team from around the world fares against the others. And that's all at DoubleTakeout.com. So just a kind of a quirky first end there. One interesting thing is that teams do play fairly speedily. Although I do say that we do have the ice tech for the event on the ice. Looking to refreeze the hack. I'm guessing, just based on when they said refreeze, I think they're putting some water into the slot there where the hack pegs are settled into. And with that done, we have Alan Berndt throw his first. And Alan has been curling for 7 years. He was an arena playdown participant. Last year was a semifinalist for the team, or on the semifinalist team playing lead. He's also part of the 8-ender club, where a team scores 8 points in a single end. That's why we call it an 8-ender. We workshopped other names, and 8-ender was the one that prevailed. So we got Ryan Tanner's first shot here for Team Pomeroy. And that settles in a little deep in the house. It could be accessible by Team Berndt. And just a shout out to our ice tech Lauren, who came out for this event and is helping to work with other women on provide championship quality ice for this playdown. So actually, okay, yeah, I think what happened was that Ryan hits the blue into the house. All right. So looking for a hit here, maybe a little bit of a roll. Ryan's trying to push it over a little bit and just got the slightest of rolls. But it does clear that blue Berndt stone from the house. And it is now Pomeroy sitting shot stone.
I do look around.
We have Matt Ketterer getting ready to throw left-handed. His biography states he has 7 years of curling experience. End of list. Some players were more thorough in providing biographical information than others. This looks to be a little up weight. I think they were looking to get around the guards, but it's going to settle in through the back of the house, out of play. And so now it looks like Pomeroy still wants to take advantage of the guards that were put up, as Paul Tanner is in the hack now, the father. Looking for a draw. Looks like they're trying to coach it over and get more distance on that stone. Looks like it's going to settle in probably top 8 foot and partially buried. Actually pretty well buried, especially when you look at this head-on view. So they can start hitting rocks out from the guard zone. But it looks like Austin's asking Matt to throw that draw again. And this looks like it's on the guard. And it will roll the shooter onto the center line. So it does open up that shot stone as that Paul just threw. And it looks like Pomeroy is asking Paul to throw the draw again. This time the clockwise in-turn rotation. And this looks pretty good. It might need to curl a bit more. It looks like it curls in really nicely though. And will settle in just on top of the button there. They're sitting 2. I think the double could be there, which again is my phrase that pays. But it looks like they're going to go off for the draw. As Dan McCarthy gets set for his shot, another lefty. He's been curling for 10 years. Made an appearance at the 2018 Arena Nationals, reached the quarterfinals, playing second. And this, again, if the rock dives, and it just dove again, and it's going to dive into the guard, and it just adds another, some more center protection for that shot stone on top of the button. So Ken is looking to kind of close the door, especially with them sitting 3 right now. So opting for a draw, hopefully top 12. I think it lights the miss here. You don't want to go too deep and leave the door open for Berndt. And then also the stone is going to dive right about now. And you just saw it take off right there. And it's going to get around. Oh, got some gear action around the guard and settles in, biting the top 12. Or gear effect, that's the phrase. So it looks like Austin wants some cleanup from Dan. Looks like it's going to hit the blue guard. It's going to hit the blue into the house. A pretty good outcome. The blue shooter rolls away, but it opens things up and rearranges the reds in the top of the house and pushes one of the reds to the back 12-foot area. So we have Jacob getting set. He's been curling for 3 years.
It might be wide open. You know?
And it looks like this rock is going to get around the guard and settle in kind of very close to where Jacob's first shot ended up. So Pomeroy is sitting 2 now. That red in the back is pretty exposed. And then Pomeroy has 4 rocks in the rings, where that blue on the right side from this view is out counting 2 of them. So we're coming to Austin Berndt's first throw without the hammer here in the second end. Austin's been curling for 10 years, was also an Arena Playdowns participant. Last year he was a semifinalist playing a skip. And some other regional events, including winning the MoPac 5 Under in 2015 while playing second. Also won it the next year as skip, or an event winner, pardon me. That's kind of tricky because the 5 Under can have multiple level events. Oh, they ended up as a really great draw there. Really narrows the scoring area for Pomeroy. Looking to see how they might be able to dislodge that blue. I think they're looking at maybe throwing heat at the right edge of the blue. That's not heat though. And then if they hit the right edge of the blue, get both the blue and the red moving, hopefully have them spin off in opposite directions. Or he could be looking to set up something for his last, and that could be what the shot is.
Nah, but my first, the first one did.
So I believe looking for a draw from Ken Pomeroy. He's been curling for 10 years. This is his first time at a Playdowns in this field. And obviously, I think we're all everyone who's here wants to do well. As you see Ken Stone head down the way. Let's see where it curls. I think it started to bite and dig in there. Needs to finish. Got 14.5, which is going to be slightly light from T. And that does settle in the top 12 foot. So for Team Berndt, Alan needs to move his head. There we go. They could kind of draw through that port. That's kind of where Dan is behind right now. And even if they miss, they would just kind of junk it up and make it really hard for Pomeroy to get a solid shot for his last. As it stands right now, Pomeroy is sitting shots, but his ability to get multiple points is up in the air. So it looks like decisions made. So decisions made. I think they're looking to draw. I think a guard might be the shot. If it slips a little deep into the top 12, that's not bad, but light would be the miss here. As Austin's shot is away. Also, Austin's a part of the 8-ender club. I would like to figure out how to be a member of the 8-ender club. I've been curling for 8 years. It's really tricky, don't get me wrong. And it's slightly different from a hole-in-one in golf. Because not only does a player have to curl well, or a team has to curl well, there have to be mistakes from the other team. So they took away the run back, or kind of the angle raise on the right side. So now I think they're looking for, this is tough to say. I don't know if they're going to be able to get enough contact on that red that's just to above and to the right of Paul. But the room's down, Pomeroy's getting set, and this is his last shot with a hammer here in the second end. He's throwing some weights, and the potential downside is that he could move the red off of the shot stone position. Brian's trying to coach it over, and it found the port. It kind of pinballs through the house, and it's only going to be a score of 1 for Pomeroy. So lots of rocks in play, lots of interesting shots, and we have each team has 1 point for all their effort. So while they get cleaned up for this end, as they get set for the third end, let's check bondspieler.com. and see how the sheet B game is going. And the answer is Team Berndt had the hammer from one country, and they were forced to a single. And Team Mallard has the hammer here in the second, and looks like they were able to put up a 3-spot. So it's Team Mallard from Oval Curling of Utah, up 3-1 over Team Berndt. And again, we're keeping track of the action at bondspieler.com. It's just like the recipe for Toll House cookies, but for curling stores. So they're testing that hack again. Want to make sure it's frozen solid in. So Austin took a slide, and now Pomeroy is going to take a slide. A little bit of a goofy slide there, but it worked out. And so I think we are game on. So the games are being timed. If you look on the left side of the screen right now, you'll see that there is a monitor with clocks on it. Each team has 30 minutes of what's called thinking time to play 8 ends. If the game does go to an extra end in the result of a tie, they get some additional time, I think 3 minutes. And it looks like Paul Tanner put up a guard. So we got Alan getting settled in. And as I keep mentioning throughout the weekend, we want to watch the deliverers aim, balance, and curl release. A, B, and C. And that looks pretty good. And then also when I talked about C, the release, you know, there's different ways to release the rock, but you have to give it a rotation, either clockwise or counterclockwise. And that was a great shot, as it ends up behind the guard. So when people say out-turn, in-turn is usually based on a right-handed curler's delivery. If you want to do a counterclockwise release, we say that's an out-turn. It's based on how your elbow moves. Your elbow moves towards the left, or sorry, moves to the outside. And that's why we call it an out-turn. And that's another good draw around. We're going to settle into the back forefoot. Both teams really like this line right now. And so if you want to do a clockwise release, if you're right-handed, you're going to rotate your arm inward, your elbow inward, and that's why we call it the in-turn. And the only problem with that is that people don't curl right-handed all the time. Some people are left-handed. So the out-turn, in-turn doesn't quite work as a point of reference for the left-handed players. So I try to use both in-turn, out-turn, and clockwise, anti-clockwise, or reverse clockwise. So that rock was a bit heavy from Alan. And so it looks like Pomeroy wants to draw on top of the blue with Ryan Tanner's first. We're going to do the counterclockwise out-turn. Looks like it's going to be pretty close. Maybe you're going to see a little bit of a tap. Not much of a tap, if any. And not frozen necessarily, but about a foot of separation between the two stones. And Pomeroy could pop that blue out if that path remains open after this shot. We're going to see what Matt Ketterer can do. I think they're looking to move the rocks around on their own. This is going to kind of dive toward the guards. And he does block that line towards those two stones in the house. However, it looks like the draw is still available. And Pomeroy is sitting shot rock and the third rock in the house, while Team Berndt is sitting the second shot. So we got Ryan Tanner's second stone here. Looking to, I think, settle in at the top 4 foot, but this is going to over curl and end up a little light. So the line was pretty good. It's just the weight was a smidge off. And I do think that Pomeroy or Berndt could return to this later in the end. And that seems to be what Austin is looking for right now. So you obviously have a lot of lefties in the game. So we're doing a counterclockwise rotation, which if you're left-handed would be an intern. And I think he may have swung out a little wide. That's going to go through the house, out of play. And so Ken might ask Jacob to try that draw. Although he's going way out with the broom. It's pretty close to broom. So the Tanners jump on the rock to try and make sure it has the distance in the curl. And that's going to settle in, biting the top of the button. That was a really good shot from Jacob, although it does look like it's about 20% exposed. And so Berndt could try the double here. Or at the very least, tap that red clear. And for everyone watching the broadcast, thank you so much for tuning in. It's great to see a lot of interest, and obviously try to have commentary that is informative and entertaining for a broad audience. As we see Dan McCarthy try the draw. Thank you, Justin, on the chat. Matt's not playing tonight. It's actually Neil Hunter. I'm going to make a note of it so I don't say the name wrong again. But thank you for the heads up. And that draw from Dan settles in at the top of the house, not quite in the rings. And we're going to see what Jacob can do with his second rock here. And this is going to, looks like it's curling into the pile if it gets over the hog line. And it will. Just kind of junks things up a little bit more. I wonder if Pomeroy was trying to put up a rock kind of on the sideline, or the 2 foot line that's 2 feet away from the center, just to make it hard for Berndt to attack the rocks in the storing area from the right. As it is, it looks like Austin is going to try and raise the blue on that left wing towards the shot stone. Looking for a decent amount of weight. And also the angles are going to be very tricky, because if you hit it on the wrong side, it could jam on the red in the back. As we see Dan's second stone here. Another lefty doing a counterclockwise rotation. And the raise is not there. And it kicks the shooter over to the right after it glances off of one of the reds in the house. So now it looks like Ken wants to kind of maybe lock down the storing area, the 4-foot red ring, do a draw and tap the red shot stone closer to the button, and be sitting 3. And I think also kind of challenging Berndt to really find a path to store here in this end. So we are playing 8 ends of regulation. The teams can choose to resign early if they feel the game has gotten out of hand. Obviously, only the losing team can concede. It would be kind of, I don't know. I've been on a winning team for once, and it's like, hey, I'm ready to end the game. But it's not my choice. It's up to the team that's behind. As we see the draw make its way down the ice. This is hanging out. It's kind of interesting to see how these rocks are playing. I was going to say that it seems like the rocks are staying, I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm still trying to get a read for the ice. One thing that a lot of the best stips in the game do is that they watch every shot and they're trying to build a map of the ice in their head, and then using that map to draw up their plays, think of the strategy, and then also aware of the fact that the ice conditions change during a game. A shot that was there in the first end might not be there in the 6th end. And this is Austin Berndt's first. And this looks like it's going to get past the guard. And now the question is, where is it going to end up? I see it now. It's curling towards the boards, and it does kind of it crashes on the red guard. But now Pomeroy is in a situation where I think he wants to close the door and not let Austin Berndt raise that blue that he just threw into the house into a scoring position. So looking for a draw. I do see there's a like a tiger cub mascot on the ice. It's always kind of fun to have some animal visitors in the stuffed or toy variety. I don't know if we had a live tiger cub here, that would be something else entirely. This is Ken Pomeroy's last rock here without the hammer. Sitting 2, looking to lock it down. This is carrying a little bit. Now it's slowing down. I got 14-6. which would tend to be a little on the heavy side. And it does settle in on top of the blue. Not quite sure if it made contact. And it did not make contact. So now they're looking at the shot that Pomeroy tried to block off earlier in the end. Looking for a bit of a circus shot, actually. I think they could be looking at hitting the inside of the outside blue, rolling to the blue in the house, and catching that blue on top of the red. Likely a shot for 1. If he makes it, it's going to be great. If he doesn't, it could be a steal at 2. But the broom's down, looking for a little razzmatazz here on the first night of the MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns. We played the women's Playdowns about a month ago at Lake Tahoe Epic Curling. After a full round robin among the 6 teams, we had Team Aces of Silicon Valley win the events, and they are heading to Arena Nationals in late October in Wausau, Wisconsin. We have 10 men's teams trying to do the same. And I hope you'll stick with us through the weekend to see who will be advancing to Nationals. So this shot's really close. It's going to hit the blue. Going to kick. Oh my goodness. Very close, but not quite. It kicks the blue in the house on top of the red. It did push the blue closer, so we might need a measure, which I like to say involves the world's greatest measuring device. But that was not needed. I guess we'll see what the score is when they post it. But it's going to be a steal for Pomeroy. At the very least, Berndt's going to take the hammer into the 4th end. And while they get set up, I'm going to take a peek at Bonspieler. And it looks like Team Berndt scored a single in the 3rd end to draw within 1 of Team Malloret on sheet B. As it stands now in the 4th end, Malloret of Oval Curling of Utah is up 3-2 over Betts from Wine Country. And no one is chosen to post the score on sheet A. Someone has chosen violence today. Actually, it's not really violence. Maybe they chose annoyance. Okay, we got Paul coming, or Ryan coming in. Just a single. All right. With that taken care of, we're back underway with the 4th end. We're going to take a 5-minute break after this end. And during this upcoming halftime, we're going to have showgirls from the casinos come in, do a quick routine off the ice. They suggested being on the ice for dancing, and that was turned down. But we're going to have an all-star review from State Line Nevada Showgirls. And it's coming up at halftime. And show boys, I guess. I don't want to be exclusionary here. That's coming up at the halftime. So Ryan's first stone slipped into the house, and Alan Berndt is going to take it on, I believe. Nope. Looking for a corner guard. So it looks like now Pomeroy is going to try to take advantage of that corner guard and get there first. That's a hefty amount of ice. Pomeroy was on the sheet this morning. He was saying he was seeing 3 feet of ice. If they wanted to do around the corner guard, that's way more than 3 feet of ice. But he's not going for the corner. He's going for the red that was put into the house. And it curls about 4 feet. So you have a center guard. And as I've been mentioning through the weekend, we have the relatively new no-tick rule in effect. And as a part of that rule, for the first 5 rocks of an end, you can't dislodge an opponent's center line guard off the center line. If that happens, the non-offending team has a choice to either let the rocks play out or stand as they played out, or remove the offending rock and reset all the rocks back to where they were before the shot. So it looks like Alan is drawing. I mean, this is going to be a heavy again. So I think looking to maybe tap that red back under the center coverage. You have a sheet B off the ice doing their break, so I can ask really quickly. All right, so the word on sheet B is that Team Mellor scored another single, and they entered the halftime break with a 4-2 lead over Team Berndt of One Country. And this shot was close. Needed just a little bit more oomph as it tapped the red back ever so slightly. This is the 6th rock to the end, so Neil Hunter, playing the role of second tonight for Team Berndt, is going to throw some heat at it. My apologies for goofing on the name. I'll definitely do my best to get it right for the rest of the night. So it's 2 rocks moving, 1 red goes out of play, and then the other red scoots over to the right side, still in the house and currently shot. So it looks like Pomeroy is asking Paul Tanner to draw around. So I think we're still seeing about 14-4 for T-line weight. And I got 14 seconds. This is going to carry a bit. And it does settle in the top 4 foot, but not it doesn't curl enough to get under the cover. So it looks like Austin's asking for a takeout shot. From Neil. Looks pretty close. Just gonna hit it on the side, and the shooter's gonna roll toward the left side of the house, and does appear to be shots. That red on the top right is about half on the rings. So it looks like Pomeroy wants to do a takeout. Looking for some pepper from Jacob. And it looks like there is probably about control weights. Enough to get the blue moving, and the red shooter's going to roll to the back to the 12-foot. And now that is shot stone with Pomeroy sitting 2. So it looks like Austin's choosing to ignore those 2 red Pomeroy rocks and is going to try the draw from Dan McCarthy. And Dan is a member of the dedicated ice committee for both Hollywood and Orange County curling. They were able to partner with the Southern California Curling Center, but the SoCal Curling Center closed about 18 months after opening. And that's just a bit on the heavy side. It does make contact with the red on the back. And I can't believe that was the shot they wanted all along. And again, another look to see which stone is shot. From the overhead, it looks like it's now Pomeroy shot, as the blue is kind of hanging out the back of the house. And we're looking for a draw from Jacob. Curious to see how much this rock curls. Ryan's on it, I think, just hoping to hold the line in for distance. It's not the weight. And that was 13-1. Gets around the cover, settles in the back 4-foot. It does poke out the other side. However, there's some guards kind of blocking the path, so it looks like Austin's going to try to have Dan just draw down on top of the red. Going for a counterclockwise rotation. Looks pretty similar to Jacob's last rock. And now you guys can see it. And Austin applies just a last minute polish to make sure it sits down right on top of that Pomeroy red. So now it is Team Berndt sitting shot stone. However, they are slightly behind the tee line, so there's space for Pomeroy to draw on top of. And that seems to be what the plan is. As I've mentioned a lot of times, curling is a sport of team work and cooperation and communication. And so kind of those fist bumps, I think, kind of show Pomeroy working to build that teamwork and camaraderie with his rink, as it were. This is Ken's first here without the hammer. And they're hoping for a little bit more curl. And it's not going to come all the way back. And so I think they would probably want to keep it high if they can. And I think they do. So there's still a path for Berndt to draw on top of the button. So it looks like the draw is dialed up. So we have some MoPac After Dark coming up with our nightcap, capping 5 games of Playdowns, starting at around 9:40 tonight. I do hope you'll join us then. The future game will be Team Fry of one country taking on Team Hernandez. And then Team Hernandez hails from Hollywood, just like Fredericks and the planet. This is I got 12/8, so the weight's a bit up. Does kick that red to the back of the house. And now a tricky situation for Pomeroy. But the answer is easy. Just make your shot. Sit shot stone and be able to score. If you miss, there's a chance that Berndt could come down on that position, push that red back, and score 3.
Was it? Yeah, we picked up Megan Bomb.
So Pomeroy gets set. Looking for a draw to the top of the button. Weight looks pretty good as the sweepers are really coaching. I got 13/6. Oh goodness. So it didn't come back. But with all that sweeping, I think it's kind of hard to expect it to. So now Berndt has like a heavy draw to tap that blue onto the red and score 3. This could be the MoPac moment maker. Totally not at all related to the TSN turning point. I guess the other phrase I think from The Simpsons was similar but legally distinct from the TSN turning point. It's just, this we call it game changer. This could be a game changer for Team Berndt. So this is the last rock, the hammer. A chance to really jump into the lead here. Austin Berndt. Needs to come back a little bit. It's going to be close. Is it there? Oh, it crashes on the blue and rolls to the back of the 8-foot for just one, I believe. It could be a 2. They kicked the red rock. So. We'll see what the score was, but Berndt adds at least another single to their tally. And
split on both sides.
We need some glue that we can stick on the end first.
is that the 4th end, really? Oh,
Yeah.
goodness gracious. That's the 4th end break.
I feel like it's been entertaining though, right?
It's been good. It's been good. One of the players is saying it's been entertaining. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, and we'll be right back as our coverage continues from the 2024 MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns. Coming to you from Lake Tahoe Epic Curling. All right, well, we're going to do a quick halftime interview. We are joined by Team Berndt from Team Berndt. Just maybe kind of tell us how the game's been going so far.
Yeah, it was going pretty good. We were in the first end, and we had some pretty good momentum going, and then we popped a hack, and that changed things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But after a couple ends, we got right back into it, and I think we're playing pretty good now. Almost had a nice little TV highlight shot on that in-off, but it's still coming down to 1, and then we just had a great shot there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going well. It's a tough fight.
What do you think about the ice conditions?
The ice is playing really nice. I really like the speed. It's been natural speed for me, figuring out a few of the lines, but it's playing pretty consistent now, so it's good.
Going into the second half, what's kind of your strategy in mind?
Strategy, just kind of keep doing what we're doing, keep the momentum, stay out of our heads. Hope we don't pop another hack. That's number 1. Don't pop another hack. Dan's a lefty, so we didn't freeze the other hack side, so we'll see if that one pops off in the second half. Stay tuned for that.
Thank you so much. Have a good second half.
Thank you.
And that was Team Berndt from Team Berndt. A close game so far. What was it? Was it 1 or 2 for the score? It was 2. Okay. All right. So Team Berndt jumped into the lead there, 3-2. And we are going to take our break. We'll be right back.
It is not.
Oh, you mean outside?
Yeah.
All
for 10 seconds after that.
Rocks in play. We're underway here at the start of the 5th end. Let me make sure the scoreboard is correct. Pomeroy has the hammer. And Berndt has a 3-2 lead after scoring 2 with that last end. It's been a pretty solid back and forth battle with lots of rocks in play. As we see Allen get sets. I don't think the warm room is reacting to this draw. Looks like it's the end of the 5th end on sheet B, and it looks like blue may have scored 3, and that would be Team Berndt. And I think that really gets Berndt back into the game here. As soon as I have a score, I'll let you know. And if you want to check out the score before I get to it, it might be at bondspieler.com. Next rock coming from Ryan Tanner of Team Pomeroy, hailing from the Oval Curling Club of Utah. The club used to be called the Utah Olympic Oval Curling Club. They kicked the rock. I don't know if it hard or if they picked it. Team Pomeroy, hailing from the Oval Curling Club of Utah. The club used to be called the Utah Olympic Oval Curling Club. They kicked the rock. I don't know if it hard or if they picked it. So we saw the replay. I still don't know what happened. And I apologize for the sneeze. Definitely do my best to try to hit the mute when I can. So we're seeing Neil Hunter's first stone, I believe. And that will settle in as a guard just off of the center. So this is the 6th rock to the end, so they're looking to do some cleaning action. Gets 2 of the blues out of play, and that's a double takeout brought to you by doubletakeout.com. So this is the 6th rock to the end, so they're looking to do some cleaning action. Gets 2 of the blues out of play. And that was a great shot there from Paul. This shot's coming from Neil. I just want to make sure I have the right player. List is going to the house. A bit wide, a bit deep. It is shot stone, so Ken could choose to take that rock on, or make a play on the top blue, or just draw around the center guards. And it looks like they're going to try the draw around the center guards. So the Oval Club used to be called the Utah Olympic Oval Curling Club, named after the facility. And it makes sense. You know, we play at the Utah Olympic Oval. And I say we because that's my home club. Over curl just a little bit crest on the guard and spins into the top of the house. So, you know, the name of the facility makes sense. The name of the club makes sense. What didn't make sense was trying to promote the club because the International Olympic Committee is kind of particular about who uses the word Olympic in their marketing and commercial campaigns. So, looking to sidestep any potential confusion or acrimony, we opted to rename the club. And we've been Oval Curling Club for about a year now. And we've been introducing some new logos, and new uniforms are coming soon. Jacob is kind of wearing the old uniform. I like to call it a Battleship Gray, which I kind of like the look, but it's also not flashy, to say the least. So Berndt is sitting 3 right now, and it looks like Pomeroy wants to start breaking up some of these rocks. I say 3. There's a red Pomeroy rock that outcounts 2 of the Berndt blues. No sweeping yet. It's kind of hanging out. I think they want to see some roll. Now they're just sweeping to get it to hang on. And it just kisses that blue. So unfortunate miss there. And it looks like Berndt is going to try the draw around the center. As we see Dan McCarthy get set. A little bit of a wobble there. Looks like he recovered. Both Alan and Matt are sweeping hard. Also, I think they want to make sure it gets over. See it breaking right there. Now it might over curl. And it does crash on the blue up top. So now there are 4 Berndt stones in the rings with only 1 shot stone that's counting, as there's a Pomeroy red on the left side. Now the left side from this view. So it looks like Pomeroy wants to kind of break things open. Also, if they get lucky with a shot, could double out the shot stone. So speaking of the Oval Curling Club's new logo, we've got some merch from an e-shop, and that new logo is on Jacob's hat, which is fun. It's also fun that I helped design the logo for the club, so it's been fun to see this new vision take to life. And also, yeah, just to get it all out there, I also helped design the uniforms. And the club members approved it in a vote. It's not like I said, it's my way or the highway. Club members had their input, which is, I think, really a good way to handle things. And hopefully with the uniforms, we'll be able to introduce new designs over the years to see how flexible we can be with our creativity, as we see from clubs like Coyotes curling in Phoenix, Arizona. It's fun to see some of the uniforms come out from Orange County and wine country. So Broom is down, looking for, I think, the draw. And I think Pomeroy is really, really looking to try to find a way to score multiple points here this end. And obviously Team Berndt is not going to make it easy for Team Pomeroy. So this rock is a little on the heavy side. And this is going to kiss the blue shot stone. The shooter's going to roll to the back 12. So Team Berndt has 4 rocks in the ring still, but Pomeroy does still appear to be second shot. As Ken and Paul talk over their options.
I was at the bank.
Yeah, we were watching. He just played in the sand. Oh, right.
And like I said, they were more than happy to have you come back. We got our ass.
Broom is down. I think they're looking to throw takeout weight into the pile. It's hard to say because the broom is not positioned for a takeout. But the draw. Okay, no, I think I know what they're doing. I think they're going to do a heavy draw to the shot stone in the back of the house. Because you see where the blue is to the right of Tanner from this view. And Ken is doing the clockwise out turn rotation. I think looking to make contact on the red, the blue in the back. They need it to curl. And there is the curl. Now, are we going to see any roll? And there's no roll. So now Pomeroy is sitting 2. Berndt is, I think, likely to take on the shot stone. However, I don't think they need to throw a lot of heat at it. You know, looks like they're going to throw about the same weight that Ken just threw. Maybe hoping for a bit more of a roll back towards the center. So they're going to throw a very similar shot, hoping to hit the inside of the red and roll back towards the center. And if they roll buried, then Ken is going to be hard pressed to try and find a point. However, for Austin, if he only gets rid of the red and sticks around, Pomeroy has a chance for 2, which is not the worst outcome. And it's past the guard. It's going to hit the red and roll to the back of the 12-foot. So it does get rid of one of the red rocks. However, let's see who might be shot. Looks like still a red. Although that blue that is at the top of the house on the center line does look pretty close compared to the red. But I think red has it by a whisker. So set up for a draw. 4-1, maybe 2. This is the last rock of the fifth end. Team Pomeroy. As Ken takes a pause to reset. Looking for aim, balance, curl. Looks like a pretty good release. Needs to be touching the white ring for that single point, maybe two. Need to really dig in. It needs to make sure it gets there. Ken might jump in to help out. It's not going to get back. So that is the end of the end. It's 1 point, one way or the other. I just will see who gets set up first. So as we are playing our Playdowns, MoPac as a region has Playdowns for national championships, and those are coming up later this winter. So this is a web graphic that I repurposed for this broadcast. Mixed fours, that's 2 men, 2 women, will face off at Coyotes Curling in mid-December, seeking to get their ticket punched to the national championship. And then in mid-January at the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club, the men's and women's club Playdowns. And that's for men and women of all clubs in our region, not just arena ice. And so more information on when to register will come up on the MoPac website and the Facebook MoPac page. So it looks like Jacob is putting up a 5. And so that was a single. So we're all square here. Berndt has the hammer in the 6th end, coming toward the home side of the sheets. Just another thank you to everyone tuning in tonight. The day is not over. We have one more game tonight, one more draw, starting at about 9:40. The featured game will be Team Fry of Wine Country taking on Team Hernandez of Hollywood. And then the B sheet game will be Team Chen of Orange County taking on Team Stephanie of Wine Country. So that's coming up at 9:40 on the MoPac YouTube channel. So looking at sheet B, looks like Team Malloret stole the 5th end with just a single, is up 5-2 over bets. And that's an interesting outcome. Bets looked pretty strong in the opening win earlier today, and Malloret struggled in their first game. So like the situation is reversed somewhat. There are 3 more ends to play in the game, up to 3 more ends, and the game can turn on a dime. As Alan gets set to throw his second stone. I think looking to make contact with the Pomeroy red that is in the top of the house, or maybe curl around the center guard or the corner guard that was put up. And this is just a smidge heavy, going to go through the house, escorted from the premises. And so now Pomeroy is looking to draw around that red center rock. And Paul Tanner has the honors. And this rock is going to end up more of a corner guard-ish. Actually slips into the top of the house, biting the 8-foot white ring. Just catching up on the live chat on the YouTube channel. Definitely appreciate the contributions. And I do have to say that curling chat is probably one of the better live chats I've seen online. There can be some nefarious types, but most people are generally generous and curious and courteous, offering their insights about the game, but also helping others learn more about this game that we've all fallen in love with. So Neil Hunter was able to hit out the red that Paul Tanner just threw, and so Tanner's going to try and put it back. Now, I do have to say that, you know, there can be some curling jerks out there, but most people aren't. So Paul puts the rock back up, and Austin doesn't waste any time to put the broom back down to take it back out. To take the rock back out. Looking to hit. I think a little roll would be beneficial for Team Berndt. It just kisses the red again, and the shooter is going to roll through the house. And Ken escorts it through from the premises. He's a bouncer in this scenario. So Pomeroy wants to try that draw around the center rock again. Again, playing the strategy, if you don't have the hammer, you want to control the center of the house and the center in front of the house. As Jacob just said, he's wearing his jacket throughout this entire game. And I have to tell you that jacket is pretty warm. So I just kudos to him for wearing it the entire game. When I wear that jacket and I curl, I wear it for about half an end and then I take it off. Which is one reason why I'm happy that we're getting new uniforms. This shot looks to be a little heavy. It does get it around that center rock, but now it's Austin's turn to bid the house warmer adieu. Unwelcome house guest, perhaps? Dan McCarthy is throwing his first. Looking to draw play to the wing on the left, which is the strategy that Common employed when you do have the hammer. Draw play to the sides to get more rocks in play and keep the center open in case you need it for a draw to score at least a single point. So it looks like Pomeroy wants to see a takeout as Jacob gets set for his last. Doing a clockwise in-turn. Really yelling for sweeping. Does make contact, and the shooter rolls slightly. Still exposed, so I think Berndt is going to take it on. This looks like it's going to maybe get around. It's going to crash on the guard. It does roll across the top of the red. And so now Pomeroy has a decision to make. And that is where to put a second counting rock. I would maybe think to try to split the rings and just make it really hard for Berndt to score multiple points, or to get rid of, not to make it easy for Berndt to get rid of the two red rocks. They could also maybe like draw and tap back the red rock, and that way they're sitting two and make it hard to double both of those reds out. One of the tricky things about tapping back is that if you tap it back too far, the opportunity would be lost. But it looks like they're going to draw. I think maybe sit on top of the red. Like I said, a little tap would be pretty good. Just get further under cover. Maybe not set up a double though. So Pomeroy's first is away without the hammer here in the sixth end of a tie game. This rock is carrying a little strongly, and it's going to settle in the back forefoot. Interesting approach. Yeah, I don't know why Ken didn't necessarily do the same type of shot, but do it toward the right. And that way it would be hard for Berndt to possibly get a double out of the situation. As it is, though, it looks like Berndt is going to just try to take out that new shot stone in the back of the forefoot. Not really going to try to take the double on. It's a tie game, and Berndt controls the hammer in the even ends. So 6, 7, 8, there's only 3 ends remaining, and Berndt has the hammer in 2 of those 3 ends. And so the hammer situation favors Berndt. Even if they only take a single point here. And this rock is carrying. It's not going to come back. So now the advantage shifts to Pomeroy. It was already shifting towards Pomeroy, but now the pendulum has swung even further towards Team Pomeroy. And yes, it looks like Pomeroy wants to put the shot in a place where it would be scoring, but make it harder for Berndt to try to draw for a single. People are really excited about that shot that happened on sheet B. Not quite sure what happened there. So Pomeroy looking to keep it high. He was kind of pointing towards the top 8 foot, the white ring. And this is his last without the hammer here in the 6th. That was an interesting release. Using the back of the handle to add the rotation. It looks like Jacob's trying to coax it over. This also looks to be maybe a smidge on the light side. Actually, not really. I take that back. It looks to be a little heavy. And that will settle in the top of the forefoot. So it does narrow the scoring area dramatically.
Oh, he did it twice! Holy shit!
They've done some more sheet B shenanigans.
Call it timeout for the timers.
So Austin gets set. Basically, they're going to try and double those reds out for a single point. And this is the last rock coming from Austin Berndt. Looking for a double. Looks close. Gets one, just the second red moving, and is good for one. Paul takes a quick look around the range to confirm, and they concur. It's one red, one blue. So just a single point. That was a good force for Team Pomeroy. But Berndt would retain the hammer advantage in even ends and has a 1-point lead heading into the 7th end. We're going to take a hydration break. We'll be right back when our coverage continues from the 2024 MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns, coming to you live from Lake Tahoe Epic Curling. Welcome back to our ongoing coverage of the 2024 MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns, brought to you by DoubleTakeout.com. Winding down our quintuple header of games with this draw 4. We have the 5th draw coming up at around 9:40 tonight. And again, those games are going to be Team Fry taking on Team Hernandez and Team Chen facing off against Team Stephanie. And the action will start at around 9:40 after practice and draw shot challenge on the MoPac YouTube channel, and of course live storing at bondspieler.com. You can't spell I love you without bondspieler.com, which is technically true, and I think the best type of true. So I think Pomeroy was looking to have a tight guard, and that is what ended up. I think it maybe curled like maybe a stone more than what Pomeroy was looking for. As Alan gets set. Some of his other events he's been to included the 2021 Hollywood Curling 5 and Under Holiday Spiel. Was a winner playing lead. Also was at the 23 Hollywood Blockbuster event. Was in second, or he played second. Pardon me. And then he was at the the C event winner at the Hotter Than Hell Bronze Spiel at Coyotes in Phoenix, playing lead. I say Phoenix. Technically, it's Tempe. But it's also mere steps from the Phoenix airport. Except for you really can't walk to the airport. I've looked it up. I don't think you can. This draw around from Paul looks pretty good. It ends up being about 60% buried under the center corner guards. The center guard. Center guards and corner guards are two different things. So it looks like Berndt is going to try to draw down on top of that stone that Ryan just threw, as Neil Hunter is preparing his delivery. And this weight looks pretty good. It's trying to settle in at the top 12 foot. So we're trying to enter the end game situation here. There's 2 ends left to play. We're in the middle of the first of the 2 ends. Pomeroy is down 1. And I'm sure does not want to trail by more than 1 point in the 6th end. Ideally, he'd be up 2 or 3 if he can. Paul was not happy with that shot. It's going to crash on the center guard. Kicked the red into the house. And so Pomeroy is sitting 2. I say 2. There's a blue in the back 12 foot that might outcount that red on the edge of the rings. And there's also another blue in the top left edge of the rings. And so it looks like Berndt is going to have Neil pluck out that red shot stone. So it actually ends up wrecking on the blue. And the blue shooter will roll undercover on the right. And so now Pomeroy is sitting shot, but there's a blue nearby that could outcount it if something were to happen. Pomeroy is taking a look around the rings to see the order of the rocks. And I think he's looking to kind of spill that red under the cover, and then I think hopefully have the shot stone stick around as Paul delivers his last rock to the end. So ideally, I think Ken would hope for 2 or 3 points to be up 1 or 2 with the last end. And this is a bit heavy. This is actually going to lose the shot stone through the house. The red shooter will stick around for second rock by about an inch. And another alternative is to be down, to give up 1, to be down 2 in the last end is not the end of the world. It wouldn't be great. I guess a blank would probably be another optimal outcome. And this is going to just flash the red rock, and Dan kind of gave a little pop of frustration. So it looks like there's a burnt blue that's sitting shot stone. And we got another red that would be second on the left side of the rings. At about 10 o'clock, treating the curling house as a clock dial. So Ken's looking at the possibilities. I think he wants to maybe try to run a double, get both of those blues moving, and I think, be sitting 2 at the end of it if everything works out. And this is Jacob's next stone. Looks like it's going to just kiss one of the blues. Oh, and it pumps out the red on the right. However, the shooter does roll to provide some cover to the red second stone on the left. So right now it looks like Team Berndt is sitting first and third, while Team Pomeroy is second and fourth. As McCarthy throws his last. McCarthy jumps in to help Allen and Neal with the sweeping. Looking to put back that guard. And it doesn't get there. So now Ken is in a position to try to score multiple points. Looking for a hit. I think a slight roll would be Gravy to maybe roll a little under the blue guard. Needs to stick around. Ken's yelling for sweeping. Oh, it crashes on that guard. And the shooter's going to roll out. And so now the advantage might be swinging back to Berndt. So it's a bit of an issue about Paul touching the rolling blue stone. It's up to the non-offending team to decide where that rock may have ended up. And he's choosing to put it on the outside side of the sheets. Hard to say if it would have rolled that far. But again, the non-offending team didn't cause the error. So it looks like Berndt is going to try to chip out that red on the left. I think we're going to see a clockwise in-turn rotation. Just to be a little heavy and maybe not coming over enough, as it will flash the red and go through the house out of play. So again, Pomeroy has a chance to score 2. We are in skip stones. Berndt has 1 lout and Pomeroy has 2. So Pomeroy has a chance to set up 2 or 3 points, which I think is kind of the optimal scenario for Pomeroy. I think entering the last end with a lead is what you want. You could try to steal your way to a win or a tie, but it's a lot more work. So looking for, I think, control weights, which is it's a weight that's a takeout weight, but it's slow enough that you can control the curl with the sweepers. And that's a standard definition of control weight. This is Pomeroy's first. Just looking for a takeout. It does look like control. This is over curling. I guess, were they drawing the entire time, or is this a plan B? It's not a plan B. As the rock goes through the house out of play. I wonder if it picked to something. Let's see what the replay says. For curling. I guess, were they drawing the entire time, or is this a plan B? It's not a plan B. So, I don't think that was a shot that Pomeroy wanted. I couldn't see if there was a pick or anything, but I think the plan was for a takeout, and for whatever reason it just dove away from the boards. So now Austin is going to try again to pluck out that red rock, and then I think force Ken for just a draw for 1. And then they would be tied coming home. Pomeroy could still steal the win. This one is also diving. Let's see where the shooter ends up. And the shooter is going to roll over to the top of the house, just kind of maybe biting the top. And it does look like that. So it looks like Pomeroy is going to get another crack at this takeout. And again, trying the takeout, it looks like. But the rocks are really falling or diving. It's hard to say which adjective best describes the scenario. But I think he's just going to throw a missile at this. Hopefully just for a nose hits. And get 2. And depending on where the blue rock ends up, it's possible to run the blue to the back blue. But I don't think they didn't line it up. So I think that would just be a fortunate happenstance. This is the last rock for the hammer. Pomeroy facing 1, looking for a takeout. And this looks to be a lot closer than the last stone. It's got a nose. Oh, and it rolls the shooter out, and the blue the blue also rolls through the house. And it's going to be a single point. Tie game coming home. But Team Berndt has the advantage of the hammer. And we'll see what happens when we come back to the finale of tonight's game at the 2024 MoPac Men's Arena Playdowns, coming to you live from Lake Tahoe Epic Curling. Welcome back to our final end of the Draw 4 contest between Team Berndt of Orange County and Team Pomeroy of Oval Curling. Tie game, but Berndt has the advantage of the hammer, and they are sitting 2 right now in the house. We have a game final on sheet B. Team Malloret was in control of the game, but Betts was able to score a 3 in the 6th and then stole the last 2 ends to take a 7-5 victory. And that looked like a pretty exciting game. We're going to see Betts on the feature sheet again at 8:20 tomorrow morning, taking on Team Gilbert from Oval Curling. And then we're going to see Malloret on sheet A again at about 11:45. So teams are trying to keep an open sheet, which would tend to benefit Berndt, because if Berndt has a draw for a single, that's all he needs for the win.
It was said in the meeting.
You
can throw in the green. The 10 seconds of the green.
You can start at the blue as the lead.
Yeah, Eric. Not when the white is done.
No, just for future.
So I think they're looking to maybe draw around the center guard, but they weren't sweeping at it until just now. Well, they almost started sweeping. Have another guard.
Just because you guys are done, just start.
And now it looks like the guard zone rule is over, and so Neil Hunter is being asked to do some cleanup.
Well, we were on one page and they were on another page. I'm about to, I saw him change the shot, and then I'm about to throw, and Nelson goes, wrong handle, it's a hit, it's a hit.
Looking for some takeout weight, and does get rid of one of the reds. The other, the shooter does roll through the house out of play.
That's why you build up your time.
I think Junior was cutting it pretty.
I'm pretty sure.
Some interesting insight from Sean in the YouTube chat, noting that the center might be a little high, which is leading for the curl away from the center, which is something I'll have to watch for. Creating and maintaining curling ice is as much an art as it is a science. And it looks like Pomeroy put a red into the rings. Looks like it could be shots, but maybe not for long, as Dan McCarthy gets set. Looking for a takeout. Don't want it to over curl and create a possible jam. And that's avoided. The shooter itself is going to roll to the left wing. And it looks like Pomeroy is calling his timeout as the players make their way down the ice. And I'm going to do let's see if we can hear what they're saying. Okay. I sort of heard what they said. I think the issue for Pomeroy is to find a place to put a shot stone and to make it hard for Berndt to pluck it out. As we see Jacob deliver his last, it appears. And they're opting to try and draw around that red corner guard. This is carrying. It needs to sit down. And it will settle out of the house, out of play. So now it's going to make things tricky for Pomeroy. Going to need to try to manufacture at least a single point with his last two stones.
We might have a team get closer than you guys. You have 20 seconds to sign that score sheet. Oh, shit.
So I think they're just looking to take out that red corner guard. And I would say mission accomplished. The shooter's going to roll over the top of both of those blues on the left. And so now Pomeroy, I think, is just going to look to try to hide a red rock behind the cover of those blue Berndt stones on the left. So by the way, I didn't mention this before. Some of Ten's favorite things are, I want to make sure I get this right, are food and watching korfball. Korfball is it's a ball and basket sports. But the basket's not on the end of the court. It's kind of in the middle of a zone. It's a pretty interesting situation or setup. Kind of like what we have here, minus the basket. So looking to draw around those blue stones. This is over curling, and sweepers are called off. I think maybe trying to do a plan B to get around one, or to kind of get past one of the blue stones and then settle into the house. It just doesn't curl enough. Now Berndt calls his timeout, and we're going to do the same. Can we hear what they're saying?
I mean, you can't draw because you're just looking at them.
Exactly. So,
what if you went over here? It's like
white open. Force them to play the
day after this.
I like that.
And it's going to be really hard.
Yeah. Because the only other option is we thin this, but then we risk losing everything like that.
Right.
So I like just throwing.
Yeah, I can imagine this spinning in somehow.
Yeah. Draw, but it has to be high.
Yeah, it's got right. We want to put it there like top four or something else.
Even here, I mean, I just don't want to hit and roll under.
Right.
That's the only issue.
Right.
But if they hit and roll out, then it's great. Cool. I like that.
Okay.
We like for room.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It'll stay straight and it'll cross.
Right. Once it goes, it'll go. Okay.
So I didn't able to make out part of what they're saying. It is kind of loud in this warm room right now. As Austin Berndt gets set for his first. I think just looking to draw, I would say to maybe the top of the 8 foot is my guess. And now you can see what's happening. It's actually going to be going a little deeper. So they're sitting 4 right now. And Ken is going to try that draw around cover again. I think giving more ice this time. You're going to need a little bit more weight. And opting not to try and freeze down on top of the blue on the right, which I think is understandable. It can be a tricky shot to make. That draw a second time might be the one that pays off. So this could be a crucial shot for Pomeroy. As he gets ready to throw his last rock without the hammer. Kind of reaching out to make sure he got the rotation on the rock. And it ended up going a little bit wide. Also needs to make sure it gets into scoring position. And it looks like it has enough. Where is it going to end up? It might go too far. Oh, look at it dive like that. That's crazy. And that is good for shot rock. My goodness. Let's see that again. And it looks like it has enough. Where is it going to end up? It might go too far. Oh, look at it dive like that. That's crazy. And that is good for shot rock. My goodness. So now Pomeroy is forcing Austin Berndt to make a shot for the win. Although seeing how that stone curled from the center line does lend credence to the online comment that the stones are curling away from the center line. And looks like they're going to try and follow Pomeroy down. This is the last shot for the game, for the win. Austin Berndt. This looks like it could be coming up a little light. The three sweepers trying to coach it to go as far as it can go. Is it going to get there? And unfortunately, no. It's shorts. And Pomeroy steals the win. That was the closest game so far in this tournament. Hopefully we're going to see more great action, and I hope you'll tune in for that. Including our MoPac After Dark game coming up in just about 30 minutes or so. As we will see at 9:40. Again, the matchup is going to be Team Fry taking on Team Hernandez. And then just to recap the Sheet B game, we had Team Berndt come back to defeat Team Malloret by a score of 7-5. So some pretty exciting games. Hopefully you'll come back at 9:40. And then if you can't make it tonight, hopefully you'll tune in tomorrow. We got games all day. And we'll have that information on the MoPac YouTube and the MoPac Facebook page. So for now, for all of us here at MoPac, Lake Tahoe Epic Curling, and DoubleTakeout.com, this is your host Ryan saying so long and good curling.